You know, as bad as all these other videos have been, this one's going to be 100 times worse. I'm Chris McCord, Professor of Philosophy at Kirkwood Community College, and this is Review for Ethics Exam 1. Alright, so what you should do is go to the table of contents, scroll down to Review for Exam 1, and then that's where the review sheet is. And if you hit the button Review for Exam 1 and you just see white space, scroll up and then you'll get to where the review is. Okay, so yeah, there's some instructions there about you should do it and so forth. But all right, let's cut to the chase here. Unit 1. Notes to take on how to do moral reasoning. What is a general deductive argument? Well, that's in that video called General Deductive. What is the only thing that can be wrong with a general deductive argument? Again, that's spelled out in that video, General Deductive. Give an example. So, what argument is Asante making about this course in 2 sets of notes? It should say. Well, remember, that's the video where he does the poem. You know, it's kind of a hip-hop rap style poem, and that's where he's talking about the idea that the courses would be biased. You need to take 2 sets of notes. So hopefully you saw that one. What's argument by analogy? What's an argument by example? Give examples, recognize. That is called, it's in that video, the second basic reasoning video called Example and Analogy. Nihilism and the egoisms. What's the view of nihilism? What's the view of psychological egoism? How would the psychological egoist interpret the self-sacrificing actions of Mother Teresa? All that's in one of the videos on I think it's called Nihilisms and the Egoisms. It's in that unit. You'll see it. Explain Plato's story of the Ring of Gyges. What fear does Plato's brother have about what the story shows us about why people act morally? That's in the video too. Now, the example of Tweety and the car keys, that's an example that it's also in that same video. These are all in that video, but you might have to go back and watch it if you didn't catch it the first time. What's that objection to psychological egoism? And then finally, what happened at Death Fest in Maryland in 2012 according to the video? Again, go back and take a look again if you didn't catch that the first time. I was there at Death Fest, so I actually have some video footage of what happened, so that's cool. You'll get to see that. What is the view of ethical egoism? What's an ethical egoist's view about when you should be honest? Well, the ethical egoist says you should only be honest if it benefits you, because ethical egoism says you should only do what's in your own self-interest. So yes, be honest if there's some benefit to you. But if there's not, it's fine to be dishonest. Number 8, according to ethical egoism, under what condition should Madge save the drowning man? Again, that's in that same video. And of course, the answer is going to be she should save him if it helps her. Now, the plot of the Twilight Zone episode, It's a Good Life. Well, that's, let's scratch that question. Let's take it off. Because I didn't have, not everybody's watching that, so forget it. Scratch number 9, take it off. Okay, notes to take on Unit 4, Mill on Liberty and the Harm Principle. What is the harm principle? That's in the video, The Cake, Part 1. What in the video, The Cake, Part 1, would an Elvis fan find offensive about it? Well, there's lots of things. Look at it. Does Mill think offense is the same as harm? No, he doesn't. What are the 3 kinds of harm that the harm principle would include? Again, that's in the video. That's in the video on the harm principle. If Jimmy John's puts AJ's Deli out of business, It harms AJ and his family. Does Mill think the state should protect AJ's deli from going out of business? Why not? Well, the answer is harm is a necessary condition for the state interfering, but it's not sufficient. And in the case of delis going out of business, it produces the greatest happiness for the greatest number if the government butts out and lets businesses compete. Mill thinks. So he's a big free market guy. By the harm principle, should a teen be arrested for cursing in public? Why or why not? Well, think about it this way. Does the teen cursing in public harm anyone, or does it merely offend? Number 7, Mill gives the harm principle because he accepts the greatest happiness principle. Why does he think a society following the harm principle will be happier than those that don't? Because if a society bans ways of living and speech that they find offensive, there will be less freedom in the society. Maximizing freedom, where you have lots of choices, creates a better society, he thinks. Would the grandma be harmed by seeing two men kissing? No, it could ruin her day. It could make her feel angry and mad and offended, but it doesn't actually harm her. It doesn't cross the threshold on Mill's view. Number 9, describe the cases of the Nazi professor, the real-life case of Alex Jones in social media, and the example of the Kirkwood professor. Just be familiar with those examples. They're all in the video again. In your estimation, which of these do and don't violate the harm principle in their speech or behavior? Well, that's up to your estimations, how you apply the harm principle. Remember, the harm principle says, that, well, you know what it says. All right. Describe the case. Oh, we did that one. Sorry. I'm getting so sleepy here. Be able to describe and consider the case of Aunt Betty and Gus. A lot of time is spent on one of those videos about that case. And the case of the baker who didn't want to sell wedding cakes to same-sex couples. Be able to describe the Supreme Court case. You don't have to know all the details of that, but just the basic story. Did he harm same-sex couples? Well, that's going to be your point of view. Do you think it crossed the threshold so that it's actually harm? Then finally, we get to Unit 5, Natural Law Theory. Explain what is Aquinas' natural law theory. What does being reasonable play? What role does it play in Aquinas' theory? How does Aquinas think the examples of gluttony, being drunk, and unisexual lust support his point? All of that, again, is from the video, so those videos are a great source of notes. Number 4, what is the purpose of human beings according to Aquinas? Be able to explain and offer plausible objections to the natural law argument against homosexuality. Well, as you saw, the video lays that out as well. And again, let's take off number 6 because not everyone has seen The Twilight Zone. So, confused? Well, feel free to email me or give me a call or text. My number is 867-530. No, that's not. It's the number is 319-693-6070. Now those numbers are right, but I get mixed up. Maybe a couple of them are out of order, so just try it though. And spoiler alert, you're going to get a lot of phone numbers that have been put in the wrong order when you're in college, or, well, maybe you won't, but I did. But anyway, listen, hopefully that helps. And do, in all seriousness, give me a call. It's 693-6070 if you get stuck or whatever. But, oh, that's weird. Looks like somebody's calling already. Hi, I'm Chris McCord, Professor of Philosophy at Kirkwood Community College. Did you have a question you'd like help with on Exam 1? Great, I'm here to help.